halved since the 1980s, as has attendance in the Church of England, and the decline continues. BSA data reveal that for every one convert, the C of E currently loses 12 people, mainly through death. That is why the research upon which this book is based focused on the non-religious lives of ex-religious boomers, baptized and confirmed as Anglicans before rejecting religion, and on their influence on subsequent generations of Generation X, Millennials, and Generation Z. The Anglican boomer withdrawal seemed a puzzle not only to me, but to many of their mothers I interviewed. As one observant Anglican laywoman born in the 1920s told me during my Generation A research, she could not explain why her boomer children had rejected her religious example. "Maybe you should ask them," she suggested. Now, before that boomer generation in their late 60s and 70s disappears, it seemed important to do just that, building on my earlier work by collecting new data and producing analyses about the century of religious change from the 1920s to the 2020s. This study is therefore important because theories maintain that the key to religious sustainability is intergenerational transmission, and yet most of those boomers rejected the religiosity of their parents in their teens or early adulthood and have never reclaimed it, and nor have they raised religiously observant children, contributing to generational decline in Euro-American Christianity. Also, beyond that initial question of why they left religion, another question arose. What, if anything, replaced it? While scholars have suggested numerous, usually large-scale societal explanations for the boomer mass retreat from religion, one aspect has been insufficiently explored. If religion is often seen as a reliable source of morality, meaning-making, spirituality and community, what different and perhaps new values or practices have been transmitted over these 3 generations, from the religious, oldest generation, through to the less religious boomers, and then to the generations following? These may include, for example, progressive ideals of equality, diversity, autonomy over their bodies, and respect for diverse sexual identities. And yet, where do these values come from? Are they inventions or reassertions of earlier, non-religious values? I found, and argue further in this book, that intergenerational transmission is familial, and that the Generation A, church-attending parents, successfully transmitted important values to their boomer children. They were just not religious values. Further, I suggest the values that parents transmitted enabled their baby boomer children to leave religion. Those boomers then successfully transmitted their non-religious values to subsequent generations. When I studied the generation of elderly Anglican laywomen, my fieldwork ended with a prediction that when that generation died out, their non-attending boomer children would not return to churches to replace them. I did not understand why, but it seemed to me that decades of non-religious belief and behaviour would not be reversed. This change would, I concluded, have important consequences, as the women of Generation A contributed significantly to church and related charities' incomes through fundraising and legacies, and often acted as informal social workers. A report in 2015 from the think tank Res Publica cited fundraising, legacies, and congregations' donations as the most significant form of church income. In the same year, the Mothers' Union's, an international charity, annual report cited the problem of losing income due to that aging and dying demographic. Similarly, structural changes that distinguish the social realities of boomers vis-à-vis millennials are well documented. The latter now find themselves in an era of relatively slow economic growth, a shrinking labour market, rising living costs, the coming of age of the digital.